do you have any takeaways now about where happiness resides in the entrepreneurship process? Because it seems like after Twitch, you would have been the poster child of any aspiring entrepreneur who is trying to make money. You made, you didn't make $1 million. You made probably 2 orders of magnitude more than that. And yet you still thought, I need to go even, I need to have 10 billion. And so in these processes, when is it the most, do you ever feel happy or fully content and sated, where there's not this desire to even do more? Maybe that is tied with happiness in that entrepreneurial journey. And if so, where is that and when is that?
Well, I think there's 2 answers. One is that, you know, there are like whatever you do, whether it's entrepreneurship or anything else, there are hopefully ways, like experiences that you have of like being in a flow state, right? Something where you're like very present and you just love what you're doing. You have joy, you find joy in what you're doing, and you can just be fully present with it. So for me, like there were moments of that in, building a product or programming, right? Like things that I just like really love to do. There were a lot of things that like I didn't have a flow state in, like managing people or like worrying about the sales or whatever. There's like tons of things, worrying about fundraising, stuff like that. So that was like, well, there were punctuated moments of happiness, probably like varying degrees over time, like depending on what I was doing and like what my responsibilities were on the entrepreneurial journey. So, like I would encourage people, I guess, if they're like looking for what to do, like you should think about like what is the thing that gives you joy to do every day. That's what I think about like now. It's like, what do I love to do every day? And what would I do if nobody paid me for it, if nobody was watching it, if it was just for my own edification, like, right? And so that's why I like making content on YouTube. It's like I love storytelling, so I'm like making content for this YouTube channel. Like it's never going to be as big as like people who are making like really compelling content. It's just like a little niche around entrepreneurship, but it gives me joy to do it. So
And
I do it.
and so are you past that feeling before? So right now, when you see the Coinbase founders, and because everybody's like Justin Kahn, he's the man. And then when you see whoever is, that next goalpost for you, do you still have that feeling? And if not, can you explain where you're at right now in life?
Right. So like, I let it go, right? Like I let go of my like comparison to like other entrepreneurs, but it didn't happen because I made any more money or was any more successful. Like I had like tons of comparison and like beating myself up over, oh, we should have kept going with Twitch or whatever, like it's worth more, or like I should start a new company. Like that was all happening even after we sold Twitch, right? And then, what changed was for me, I like kind of woke up one day. I like went through a series of life events where I realized like, oh, I am just this is a treadmill, a hedonic treadmill that can last forever, and I'll always be dissatisfied. And maybe happiness doesn't come from external things; it comes from the internal, right? Like even like in the past, like I've achieved everything I thought, and then there's just been new goalposts, and then like another treadmill of like or another hamster wheel of like unhappiness or dissatisfaction, I should say. And maybe instead, like I should focus on like how I can be satisfied every day, and like what are the things that give me peace every day. And so there's a lot of things like, I started keeping a gratitude journal every day. I started exercising every day. I started meditating every day. And basically reprogram my mind to be like let go of a lot of these attachments to like other outside sources of reward or achievement.
And are there and so do you find yourself then more in that flow state that you were talking about before, where you are getting more joy now than you did in the past? Or was there another moment in the past where you felt it was the pinnacle of life, pleasure and joy?
No. Now is the pinnacle of life for sure. Like
now is the pinnacle. Okay.
Yeah, like for me, it's like, yeah, I'm more in the flow state and more doing the things that give me joy every day because I'm just choosing the activities that do that. And the funny thing is, like from the outside, it looks like I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing. There's this concept my meditation teacher speaks about in Buddhism where like the final stage is like a wheel of like progression, and then the final stage, the image that represents it is just like this shopkeeper in the town square or whatever. And he's just living like a normal life. He's just super at peace and like free of attachment, right? But he's like gone all the way around, and like from the outside, you never know.
Yeah.
And I feel like the thing is like people are like, oh, you're just on YouTube, on social media, making content and like investing in startups and incubating startups. So like it's exactly the same thing you were doing 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or whatever. But the difference is like today I just do them from a place of joy where I'm like less concerned with like, or I'm not concerned with like the outcome. And it's more about like, am I enjoying the process of this? Am I working with people I like? Am I doing the things that I think are my talent instead of the things that I don't think are my talent? I think I'm good at fundraising. I think I'm good at like um, ideas. I think I'm good at mentoring and coaching. And like maybe I'm not as good at being the CEO of these companies or whatever. And so, I just like focus on the things that I love to do every day. And it happens to look like a lot of the things that I was doing before, but just part of them, the part that I love and not the part that I don't love.